Well, good evening. Welcome to a midnight session with myself, Jamie McNichol from Southern Truth, and joining me is my co-host and always the best buddy, brother, all-in-one, Damien Maynard. Not Maynard, it's Maynard from South Carolina. Good morning, good evening, and you just got off work.
Good evening. Yeah, I'm sipping me a cold one because I just got off work and it's midnight and everybody else gets off at 5 and comes to my store to buy beer and blunts. That's what.
Well, we've got some, before we start today's topics, we've got some housekeeping. As always, we've got some housekeeping to say. Firstly and foremost, I want to say thank you to all the people that have watched our videos and have subscribed. It's a pleasure having you guys around and supporting us, what we do. Secondly, there's been some changes around the world, especially with the restrictions on this lockdown pandemic. We are going to go into that a bit more detail of what's been currently going on. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, if you see me wearing this blue beanie, we call them beanies here in Australia, it's because every year there is a fundraiser for research for the motor neuron disease. And basically, you get these beanies for $20. All the money goes into the research. You remember a few years ago where people were doing the ice bucket challenge to raise awareness? Well, this is another form of awareness. We get the beanies every winter here in Australia for $20, and all the money goes there. So if I look like
That's
a
pretty
Smurf,
worthy. I would say that's a pretty worthy cause too.
yeah. So if I look like a Smurf today, I'm not apologizing. So
No, you look good, man. I like it.
yeah,
It looks good. I like my beanies too, man. So
yeah.
or
So
if you're in Michigan, they call them, and I don't know why they call them this, but they call them toboggans. All right, a toboggan is something you ride on the snow in. So
yeah. Well, funny you say that. Damien. When I was in Canada, they called these a took.
a took.
A took, right? Which is a beanie. And I call them a
Yeah, it's a
beanie.
beanie. That's what it is.
But what I mean, like here in Australia, as you can see, I'm all rugged up. I've got a hoodie on. I've got a beanie on. He's Damien in a t-shirt. And if we go back 4 or 5 months ago, Australia had the bushfires. It was summer. I was sweating my nuts off. But now,
and I was in a jacket.
yeah,
I was in my hoodie all the time in my hoodie because it was cold as shit.
So now that we're 4 or 5 months from that, right? Australia is coming into winter, and we're getting the polar Antarctic blast coming through. It's freaking cold. The sun's out, mind you. The sun is shining, but the wind is so icy cold. It's
the sun can be shining and it can still be cold as shit.
It is. So it's just ironic that 4 or 5 months ago we had the bushfires, and now we've got the winter and whatnot. But anyway, there's the housekeeping. So please support us as much as you can, and we're going to keep bringing you shows weekly like this, talking about what's currently going on and a few more other things. But today's topic, as you can see on the bottom, the bubble has burst. Yesterday, I was on the phone to Damien, and we were talking about what's currently going on. And in the process of that phone call, in Australia, live time, while talking to Damien, they were lifting some of these restrictions that are currently in place for Australia. And we're going to go through some of these restrictions. Now, the restrictions are a 3-stage process. Like there's 3 stages of these restrictions to be lifted. On Monday, Australian time, stage 1 starts off. So stage 1 restrictions is that all restaurants, cafes can dine outside the business, not inside, outside.
Okay, so does that mean that bars can serve outside too?
No. All pubs are still shut. The pubs and clubs are stage 3. They're not stage 1, they're stage 3.
What?
So,
why? Why is that any different than a restaurant?
once again, it's hypocrisy. I know we're going to go through this. We're going to go through it and break it down just to see
Well,
how much.
I'm not asking for me because I understand it. I'm asking for our viewers because our stuff, South Carolina is opening up. We already are open for outside dining, and Monday we open up for inside dining. We get to go to our favorite restaurants again. And I know that the rest of the country is not like this. So I feel very fortunate to live where I live.
Yeah, that's also what I want to bring in. Some of the other states in Australia, they haven't even lifted up their restrictions at all. Right? And we are going to go through all this as we go along.
Like in Eastern Australia, that's not happening.
No, or especially in the state of Victoria. We're going to go into that.
Victoria is huge. Victoria is a huge state.
Yeah. So basically, it's a 3-stage process. Now, the first stage, as I mentioned, outside dining for restaurants and cafes. Pubs and clubs are stage 3. So we're going to go into that. They're not. Pubs and clubs are not operating. They're only operating the bottle shop. So if you want alcohol, you go to the bottle shop. But anyway, stage 1, you can travel in your regional area. Like you can go from wherever you live to a regional town. No if, no but, no baby, you can travel. You can go camping, right? So if I want to go, say, into the country here in South Australia, I can. From Monday, I can go camping, right?
Right.
All local sport can go back into training, but no more than 10 people. So they can train, no body-to-body contact and training, but you can go to train only up to 10 people. Outdoor boot camps like fitness classes and yoga and all that, they can do that outside, only up to 10 people, right?
I get it.
Funerals, now, this is a major thing. The funerals, if you have a funeral inside, you can only have 20 people. If you have a funeral outside, you can have 30 people. Right?
I'm sure I know for a fact that some funerals get 60 people, 70 people. Because the people are so well known. They're older. They know every fucking body in the community, and everybody respected them, and they all want to go pay their respects. How do you think they're going to handle that when people just say, "Fuck you, I'm going to this funeral, and I don't care how many people are there." And what are you going to do in that? I mean, come the fuck on. If you can have 30 people, you can have 60 fucking people. This is bullshit.
It is. And the gatherings, like public gatherings, so you can visit people for only up to 10 people. Now, let's go back to the state of Victoria, because this is where this show is mainly about, is Victoria. We've got what we call premiers as state leaders, like in South Carolina and Michigan. In America, you've got governors, right? Which is the same.
We have governors and mayors and yeah.
It's it's just a governor. It's the same as the premier, right? The leader.
Okay,
Of the,
well, here's how it's working here. All right,
yeah,
the governor makes announcements concerning like how business can be conducted and whatnot. But the mayors, or the city officials in the cities are the ones who are making the decisions about the beaches and the stuff like that.
yeah.
They shouldn't have any say so over that. That should
No.
be at a state level, period. It doesn't matter. Everything should be at a state level, and the governor should look. If they say restaurants could be open, it should be able. Everyone should be able to do that in the entire state.
Yep.
If beaches
Now,
are open, that should be in the entire state. It shouldn't be city to city because that's bullshit.
well, that's what we're saying from city to city or state to state. Everyone's got different rules and regulations. Now,
Yeah,
let's go back to the state of Victoria. We were talking about these restrictions being lifted, and as I said, I was on the phone to Damien yesterday, live time when these restrictions were happening.
right.
In the state of Victoria, they are not lifting any restrictions whatsoever. So therefore, they can only see people of 2 people at a gathering, a maximum of 2 people.
2
and,
people. That's not a gathering. That's a couple.
And for tomorrow being Mother's Day, people in the state of Victoria cannot see their mothers for Mother's Day.
See, that's messed up.
Now, I'm going to share screen something because as of tomorrow, this is where the title of this show is all about. The bubble has burst. In Victoria, and I am hearing, it's not just Victoria, I'm hearing everywhere around the world on Sunday for Mother's Day that people in countries that got lockdowns, the people are going to protest on Mother's Day at the Capitol buildings or Parliament House because of the current situation that's going on.
Yeah, but see, it's Sunday, so none of them are working anyway. It doesn't.
Right.
That's not. I don't think it's going to make as a big an impact as people think because nobody's working. They're all off.
No, well, hold on.
All those government officials are going to be with their mothers on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
You know?
But here's the thing. Because everything is starting to open up here and there, here in Australia, they're starting to reopen, people are coming out more. Like I was saying to you, Damien, I just got back from the shops just over an hour ago. And people are out everywhere buying Mother's Day presents, right? Because Mother's Day tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Now, tomorrow, I can guarantee you, in the state of Victoria, you have to expect a riot going to happen at the protests, right? There is going to be a fucking riot because the people are now more than fed up with the current situation with the lock. Now, my only question is, why did it take this long to finally do something?
Because it's something they care about. That's why.
Yeah.
Because it's something they care about. We care about our mothers, okay? They raised us. They took care of us. They fucking nurtured us and taught us things. We fucking care about them. More than life itself sometimes. All right?
Yeah.
So you can't... That's an unbreakable bond. You can't break that bond.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much you want to inflict anything on us. You cannot break the bond between a child and their mother.
No. And that's why tomorrow it's a specific day, as Mother's Day of all things, for people.
I think everyone should protest by going and seeing their moms instead of going to the Capitol building.
I'm pretty sure that's what I'm hearing as well. They are going to do it with their mothers. So it's going to be like one big massive Mother's Day celebration, but they
That'd be
protest it.
fucking awesome. That would be fucking epic. Epic.
Right?
Yeah.
So I am hearing, and like I've been up till about 2 o'clock this morning my time, just hearing the ramblings and what's going on behind the scenes. Now, the mainstream media in Victoria are all over this protest. They are trying to tell people to avoid going to a protest tomorrow. They
Of
don't want
course
people.
they are. They're
Right?
the mainstream media.
Right?
They don't want any
So
of that.
exactly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to screen share a testimony of a guy that is involved with this protest. And I want you to hear him out because this is what the current situation is in Melbourne, Australia, right now. So
And
we're
that's
going to
not
do
very
this.
far away from where you are.
No. So I can't travel to Melbourne due to the state borders are still locked down.
You cannot travel like that.
No. So we
We can
can't go
still
from
travel. We can still travel.
we can still travel within our own state, but we can't go out of state. We can't go from one
No, I
state
can
to
go to
another
any
state.
state I want. I can
Yeah.
go to any state I want. They can't stop me.
So I'm going to share to screen share. I'm going to go. Oh,
Although
fuck. I can't.
they did cut off one city. They totally cut it off. If you didn't live there, you couldn't be there. Or if you didn't work there, you couldn't fucking go there. And you couldn't leave either. So
Right.
if yeah, they were and that was in New Mexico. What was the town? I can't remember the town, but it was in New Mexico. It wasn't Farmington, it was something else. Anyway, no, they completely shut down the roads for 3 or 4 days. Military and cops.
Military and cops, yeah?
Yes.
Well,
They had the military posted there. It was fucking martial law. That's what it is. Martial law. They don't want to say that, but that's what it is.
right.
Oh, it was Gallup. Gallup, New Mexico. Gallup, New Mexico.
Right. Just got to do just one thing, man.
You don't even have to play the video. All you have to do is do the audio.
Yeah, I've just got. Okay, I can do the audio. I don't have to do the thing. So yeah, the screen share's not working, but I can do the audio. So it's all good. So just give me a couple of seconds. I'm just going to mute out for a second. Yeah, just let me give a couple of seconds. I've just got to find it. Just hold on.
But no, this is all crazy. It's been crazy since the very beginning. And I've talked to health professionals. I've only talked to one person that works in a hospital that said they had cases of coronavirus, supposedly. But I doubt her statement because I know lots of health professionals here. I know lots of nurses. I know a few doctors. And there's no coronavirus cases here. They're full of shit.
Right.
They're lying. And even it's even been said.
Damien, just try to. We got Eric here. G'day, Eric. Eric, you've got to just mute that because I've got something I'm playing something. Right? I'm playing something. This is important. Eric, please don't, man. You've done it the last 2 times. We're not mucking around this time. I'm playing something. Just mute yourself, Damien. I've got this audio.
All right, I'm muted.
This ladies and gentlemen, this is the testimony from Victoria for tomorrow for the protest. It's an 8-minute video clip. I'm going to play the audio for you guys so you can actually hear the testimony, what's currently going on.
G'day guys, no consent, or we are young and free. I've got no facts and figures in front of me tonight. Well, I have got facts, factual accounts and factual things I've seen, but I've got no statistics and alerting you of things. But what I'm going to alert you of is my first-hand encounter with things over the last 2 weeks. This is not acceptable anymore. Sunday, May the 10th, Mother's Day, on the steps of Parliament House, we must make a voice. Must. It is our duty to make a voice. We are led by tyrants. Now, whether you want to accept that or not, it does not make it not true. It is true. You need to accept it. This country has never had political upheaval in its past before. Do you think we are immune for the rest of history, for the rest of time from it? It's real, and it's now. I've been on the phone, just a bit of my story and experience for the last 2 weeks. I've been on the phone to people in tears with me, distraught and not being able to see their parents. Now, you might sit there and think, oh, well, you know, it's not much to me, but to other people it is, and that's okay with you. People that tell me that their own loved ones are distraught and suffering stress and anxiety, and for the elderly, that's terrible, because their immune system's already weakened at that age, and full strength to them. I hope they're getting through okay, but many aren't. Most aren't, because I'm hearing reports of the elderly being locked in their rooms as well too at these aged care facilities and not allowed out of their rooms. I mean, that's against so many human rights, Charter of Human Rights abuses. It's ridiculous. And you and I just accept that. You know, I'm hearing stories of people in tears and suffering great anxiety about having to be vaccinated to work and then basically manipulated and coerced, and it's just not good enough and it's not acceptable. I had those people on the phone in tears to me. It's one poor woman who lived by herself. Was that scared by the rules? She was even scared to invite someone over to comfort her. I explained to her that no, that was okay, but this is the lies we're told. And media, you are just as complicit. You disgust me. It's wrong. I've seen videos of fathers being tasered in front of their kids for not following rules that aren't risking lives. And you're going to hear on Sunday how much of a hoax this is and the facts behind things. Be there Sunday. It's your duty. I've seen videos posted by a father whose son went up to his bedroom and hung himself. Teenage son. Because of what's happening and he can't go to visit his friends and all the rest of it. So the father in his honour thought he'd post just to let people know. This is not acceptable. The suicide rates are high, ridiculously high. But apparently that's saving lives or keeping a lot of people in. No, it's taking lives. Daniel Andrews, their death is on your hands. You know, businesses, just people watching 20, 30 years of hard work go down the toilet. That's not acceptable. Sitting there thinking you're being safe and listening to your government. No. When does it come a time to say enough's enough? Just want to make a plea to the Victorian Police as well too. You took an oath when you first become a police officer, full of hope, full of ambition, wanted to make a difference. You can make a difference, and you can make a big difference now by just listening to the people on this, please. Not the corporation. They are lying to you. And I'm sure even the information some of your sergeants are getting is passed down the line in good faith, but the information they're reading as well too, I guarantee you, it's wrong. It's false. It's a lie. You're being lied to. Any police officers that are there on Sunday, look at the people. Look at the people in front of you. Look how angry and fed up they are. We're not angry at you. We're angry at the corporation. You signed up to protect the public. We need protecting. It's from the corporation, so-called government, from a tyrant called Daniel Andrews, who's guilty of treason and other acts of corruption. Those facts are going to be presented to you on Sunday as well too. You need to arrest that man. You want to make a difference. You see how the community, you see how torn you are by the corporation, putting so much pressure on you to get out and find people. It's not right. Make a stand with us, please. You are one of the community, and I'm sure your friends are affected by this, and I'm sure you're personally affected by this as well too. What are you going to say enough's enough? It's a bigger picture. It's a bigger picture. It's not about vaccinations. It's not about the lockdown. It's a bigger picture. Much bigger. You need to see it. Please, you need to see it. And just to finish off, it is Mother's Day on Sunday. My dear mum, rest her soul, passed 7 years ago now. And I think it's my duty to get there on Sunday and stand on those steps with my head held high. And if it's blocked off, I'll still stand there. I think it's my duty to honour the sacrifice she made so that our family could have the life that we had. The sacrifices all mothers made. Ring them up and thank them for the sacrifice they made. Look at your own kids and think about the sacrifices you're making for them so they can grow up in a world that I promise you will not be the picture that you've created for them in your mind. And that's wrong because you sacrifice so much so your kids can have a good life. It won't be the case if you do not do something now and get there on Sunday and make a stand. Your kids will be vaccinated forcefully and microchipped. And if you think that's a stretch, read the signs, look at the signs, look at the language behind things. Everything's a test. Look what's happening in other countries already. It's not acceptable. Sunday, 12 o'clock, the steps of Parliament House. We need to make a stand. It is not acceptable anymore to say we have to listen to the government. We do not listen to tyrants. No more. It has affected the community too much and it needs to stop. Come and make a voice on Sunday. A loud voice, arm in arm. All of us, everyone, every single person. And I send this to even the people I've had beefs with in the past. It's bigger than that. It is so much bigger than that. It really is. We need to make a stand and we need to make a voice. It is your duty. No more acceptance. No more. I love you guys. Sunday, 12 o'clock, Mother's Day. Honour your mothers. Honour them. The best Mother's Day present you could ever give them. Being a voice against a tyrannical government who is lying to the people and causing everything I have just previously stated. It is not acceptable. We need to stand up. We used to be a tough country. Are we still tough? Prove it. See you Sunday.
Yeah, man, that's powerful.
Yeah,
because he's right. He's absolutely right.
Yeah, so tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in Melbourne or anywhere in Australia, you go to your Capitol building tomorrow at midday, your time, because tomorrow is Mother's Day, and the people of Australia, and I'm hearing the protest is going worldwide, that currently under lockdown. So if you've got restrictions in place that are stopping you from seeing your parent due to whatever reason it is, get out there, be a voice, be heard, because the people are now had enough. Like I said at the top of the show, just before I played that testimony from that awesome guy, the bubble has finally burst here in Australia. And my only question is, why now? Because it is something that means so dearly to everyone's heart to pay their love due respect to their mother, to celebrate Mother's Day of all things, but people can't see their mothers due to these restrictions that are currently put in place. So, once again, 12 o'clock tomorrow, Australian time, no matter what state you're in, 12 o'clock your state time, protest. If you're against the federal government and all the corruption and all the bullshit that is currently going down with lockdowns here and lockdowns there, you have a voice. They cannot trample on you. Do not let them. If you allow them,
you have the choice. You have the choice to speak and be heard with multitudes of other people, and that is a powerful thing. It is a powerful thing.
And that's the thing too. Like we'll mention the restrictions that are going to be lifted on Monday, right? And it changes from state to state or city to city, as you mentioned before, right? But from day one, when they put these restrictions in place, it was a prophecy. You can send your children to school with 600 students in the school, but that child still can't go to a birthday party just up the road from your place.
Right, which is stupid. It's absolutely stupid. What they are doing doesn't make any sense whatsoever. What they're saying we can and can't do doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If we can go here or there to the grocery store or the convenience store or wherever, and there's a bunch of people there, that doesn't really matter. I mean, why shouldn't we be able to go to restaurants and pubs and everything else we want to go to?
Right. And here's the thing I want to tell the listeners too. With everything that is currently put in place, they had made it a law. My thing is, shouldn't it been up to the people to vote to change the law or to make a law? It's up to the people to decide whether
these aren't even judges that are okay, because in our country, only Congress can pass laws. Okay? Nobody can pass laws except Congress. Okay? They make the laws.
Yes, but doesn't the law got to go to the people first? Like here in Australia, you got to allow the people to vote for it.
I'm sorry, Supreme Court rules. Supreme Court rules state law. So only the Supreme Court can make laws.
See, this is where the hypocrisy comes involved, Damien. Most of the
what they're doing isn't law. This isn't law. This is bullshit.
No,
so
it's not. But they make it. We're not bullshit, but they made it a law. Therefore, my question is: if you want to change the law or make a new law, it should be up to the people to decide whether that should be a law, right? Well, I know here in Australia, right, it goes to the public vote. It's like a referendum. If you want to
No, in
change,
our country, it does not work that way.
right?
Otherwise, it would be legal to fucking sell and buy and use meth and everything else that you want to buy and use and sell if it was up to the people. Because, yeah, there's a lot of meth users out there. So, yeah, that would be a thing. But no, it's illegal because it's bad. So, yeah. So you can't leave it up to the people. You have to have people deciding what is morally and ethically right. Okay? That is what it comes down to. Is it morally and ethically right? So
that's what I'm saying. It should be up to the people to decide whether that is morally right. It should be up to the Congress.
That's true. And we do make those decisions. And we break the law to make those decisions because we believe that it's morally and ethically right. So some of us, like myself, I don't know if I can say it loud and proud, have to break the law because the law is wrong. So I'll just leave it there.
Well, let me go through some of the laws that I just researched in America, right? In the state of Oregon, or in Oregon, right? It's against the law to do a shit in a moving vehicle and expose that out of your window. It's against the law, right?
Good. You shouldn't be able to shit out the window of your car.
All right. But I'm talking about common sense here. We're going back to common sense, right? I
would probably throw rocks at that motherfucker if I saw him doing it and I had some rocks in my hand.
All right. In North Carolina, this is no joke. It's against the law for people to play bingo for more than 10 hours a week.
Yeah, that's stupid.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of stupid rules on the books. A lot of stupid rules. Like there's states that can smoke marijuana legally, but in my state it's illegal. So people still do it. I mean, tons of people still do it. I mean, I fucking know half of the people in my part of the city that do that. So, and that's a lot of motherfuckers. You're talking about thousands of people.
Yeah. How about this law? How about this law? In the state of Montana, you're going to love this law. If you are performing on stage, whether you're a comedian and in a band or whatnot, and if you leave halfway through the show for whatever reason, it's against the show. It's against the law for you to leave the stage without finishing the show.
Well, if people suck, and I'm not doing a show for them anymore,
so basically,
I'll just sit on the stage and let people look at me for the rest of my show. How about that?
Well, you know what I'm going to do, Damien? You know what I'm going to do? As soon as all these restrictions are lifted and it's international travel, I'm going to go to Montana and I'm going to go to their comedy club, and I'm going to go knock knock. And the crowd would say, "Who's there?" And I'll say, "Fuck you." And they'll go, "Fuck you, who?" "Fuck you, I'm not telling you." I'll walk off. But apparently that's against the law. Now, here's the last one I want to bring up. New Jersey. Yeah, here's this. It's against the law in New Jersey to pump your own gas into your own vehicle.
Oh, you can't do that in Oregon either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone has to do it for you, which is fine. That's fine. Let them pump your fucking gas. Shut the fuck up. Let them pump your gas. It's a lot less hassle, okay? Because people are fucking stupid. I've worked at gas stations. People are dumb as fuck, okay? They will drive off with the pump in their fucking car. And it's happened. It happened on my shift. So I fucking know. Like, there's this dude driving down the fucking road with my pump and the fucking hose attached to it down the road because he's a dumbass. And there will be people that are like, I don't know how to pump my gas. Can you help me? Yeah, I can't turn on the gas pump. Well, you're a fucking idiot. If you can't turn on the gas pump, there's something fucking wrong with you. Because it ain't that hard.
Yeah. So basically,
So that's why those states have those rules, is so that people don't spill gas all over the fucking place and make me go put kitty litter on it, and they don't drive off with the pump in their fucking gas tank and all kinds of shit. That's why they have those rules, because people are fucking stupid.
yeah, I get that, but what I'm coming down to is there's got to be common sense. You know what I mean? But
People don't have common sense, man.
Exactly, and that's where
Persons
regulations.
do. Individuals in the world have common sense. Okay, but the masses don't have any common sense, and that's a fact. Okay,
Right.
I deal with people on a daily basis and have for the last 5 years. So
Right.
I know that people are dumb. They're fucking dumb. If you're walking around with a mask right now, you're fucking dumb. You look dumb. You look silly. Just take the fucking mask off, because there ain't no reason for it. There's no reason for it. All of us aren't wearing masks, and none of us are sick. So
Now, we were talking yesterday when those restrictions were lifted. We were talking yesterday on the phone. The reason why many people are wearing masks in today's society is because it's a fashion trend. It's got nothing to do trying to stop the virus or so forth.
Okay, I can buy into that because now they can look cool with something else, and they can order it however they want, and they can make it as shiny as they want, or they can put an American flag on it, or they can do whatever the fuck they want. So I understand that. I do.
Yeah. And
you don't have to show your face. But guess what? The AI is still reading your face in all the cameras across the nation, and they're still fucking able to tell who you are. So
exactly. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that it's been proven, and doctors and nurses and scientists been whistleblowing over the last month, saying that a mask will not prevent you from getting sick. It will not prevent you. So why are you wearing a mask for?
In fact, it will make you sick if you wear a mask and you're not if you're not like a health professional or someone that is sick. It can make you sick because it's trapping all the stuff that you breathe out, and you're supposed to breathe oxygen in. Okay, it's very hard to breathe oxygen in through that mask because it prohibits you from breathing. It literally is a bad thing for you to do, because it prohibits you from doing the very thing that you're supposed to do, which if you're in the fresh air, you're supposed to be breathing that, because it contains not a lot of oxygen, but enough for you to be able to live. So by wearing that mask, you're just cutting down the oxygen that you're able to breathe in. And it's a bad thing. I'm telling you, it's a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, before we continue, there's reports coming out of the state of New York. Now, I believe not just New York are doing this, but there's other places around the world. But in New York, they are making it mandatory that people have to wear masks now to go into the grocery store to buy food or anything like that. Even to walk around in public now in the state of New York, you've got to wear a mask.
Now, see, that is the epicenter of the test. That's what it really means. Okay, when I tell you that it's the epicenter of the test as to whether they can make people all over the country do what New York's doing. Okay, because they put all these restrictions on people, and then they make them. Then they force them. They're forcing them to wear masks. Okay, and let me tell you something. The government has absolutely no fucking business whatsoever telling people what they must do because that directly conflicts with our Constitution. All right? You cannot force me to do anything. You can't force me to fucking can't force me to pay taxes. You can't force me to get a driver's license. You can't force me to do a lot of goddamn things. You can't force me to do anything. You can't force me to go to the hospital. You can't force me to get tested. You can't do that. I'm not going to allow you to do that. It's not going to happen.
Well, I think many people should be aware of
I'd
this.
go in the middle of 100 masks without a mask, and I'd be like, you're supposed to be protected. Why don't you shut up? Fuck you and your mask. You're supposed to be protected with that mask. I don't care.
Well, see, that's the thing. This is what I wanted to say. It's not for another person's job to protect my health. It's my job to protect my health.
That's right. Just like my safety.
No.
My safety is my concern, not your concern.
Right. So this is where I wanted to take it to this level, right? When it comes to the Constitution, I'm talking about the constitutions all around the world, right? Especially those ones that are currently locked down. Right? We won't talk about China because China is a communist country. They don't have a fucking constitution. But anyway.
We probably have a couple new subscribers because I told a couple of people about our channel and they were gonna come look at us.
That's cool.
But it was Southern Truth. I have to tell them it's a resistance now because it was Southern Truth and I told them Southern Truth. So I'm sure they'll still find it.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. We are still going to be doing shows on Southern Truth during the week. So during the week will be Southern Truth, and on the Friday midnight shows will be the Resistance.
Oh yeah, I got to tell them about this channel because never mind.
Yeah, but anyway,
good Lord Almighty.
Yeah. So let's get back to the Constitution for a second, right? Now,
Constitution. They're prostituting themselves, all right.
Yeah, just hold up. Let me finish. What is happening all around the world that is currently locked down? We're not talking about China because they're fucked up in the head, but all these other countries, right? Technically, all these countries do not. Now, hear me out, ladies and gentlemen. All these countries that are currently locked down currently do not, in their mind, have a constitution because they have suspended their constitution. Also, on top of that,
they've done that here too.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. But also, on top of that, by suspending the constitution, they have enforced other power and laws on top of their suspension. So therefore, if you are standing up for your rights and your freedom underneath the Constitution, it doesn't matter anymore in their eyes. In these corrupt tyrannical government and the law officials, it doesn't matter now. Right?
Exactly. But here's where the power lies. The power lies within the people because there's way more of us than there is of them. So if we all join forces, they cannot stop us, period. There is no stopping us.
No, there isn't.
There's way more of us.
Yes, there is. But the thing is, this is where I wanted to go with this, and we agreed with this yesterday. There's many people getting fed up and tired with the current situation that's going on with the lockdowns. I see it on social media and whatnot. But here's where the problem lies. These same people are not committing themselves to stand up in public to fight for their freedom. It's okay to post about it on social media and whatnot that you're unhappy. But if you are not standing up, for your right in the general public forum, like especially tomorrow, with the protest, if you're not standing up for it, then your argument is wasted. Right? There's a lot of people doing the talk, but if there is no action and no commitment, you're invalid. Right?
Right.
So
you can't sit on your couch and protest in social media and not do anything about it.
right.
That's
And
bullshit. If you're gonna fucking say shit, back it up with real fucking talk. Like, get out there and do what you're supposed to as a human being for the rest of the human beings and yourself, because that's what it takes. Get off your fucking ass, off the couch, get out of your fucking house, and don't worry about this supposed fucking fake virus. Whatever. This shit is bullshit. I haven't worn a mask day one.
I don't think those people are afraid of the fake virus. You know what it comes down to? And
Some people are. Some people are. Like, they talk about the elderly catching this and dying, and all the old folk are like, okay, not all of them. Some of them have woken up and they see it for what it is, some bullshit. And they're older folk, and I'm like, hey, this is what the Nazis did to the fucking Jews before they took them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And these are black people I'm talking to, so they understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So,
but what I'm saying is, Damien, I don't think it comes down to just being afraid of the fake virus. You know what they're afraid of? The reason why they're not protesting, they don't want to get locked up, because I'm hearing stories, and I've actually seen this happen. Right? People are getting beaten up by the law officials, and it's not just one cop. There's about 6 to 8. There's about 6 to 8 cops onto one guy, beating the living shit out of him, kicking him in the head, all because the guy was not wearing a mask. But here's the funny thing: the guy that was kicking into the cop, he's not wearing a mask either.
Right.
So they're enforcing a law. Now, hear me out. They're enforcing a law. If you're not wearing a mask out in public, where it's supposed to be mandatory in some places, not all, in some places, you're getting beaten up by the police force. But at the same token, the guy that's beating you up for not wearing a mask, he is not wearing a mask.
Right.
But this is what it comes down to.
It's bullshit. Right? That's what it is.
The Constitution doesn't protect the civilian. It only protects the law officials, because they've got more fucking power and they've got more control. They are throwing people in jail left, right, and center. At the same token, throwing people in jail for breaking a restriction on the lockdown restriction. You know what they're doing? They're releasing fucking hard-on criminals like pedophiles and fucking murderers from the jail system, so they can put the people that they collected for breaking the fucking restriction order.
Hey, check this out. Check this out. The other night, I was getting off work. I'd closed down the store, turned off all the lights off and stuff, and was waiting for my boss to get there so he could finish out whatever he needed to finish out, right? And my mother-in-law and my wife were sitting in the parking lot in the car, and a cop pulls up and asks for her fucking driver's license and shit, right? And I come out of the store, I got some pile of fucking shit I'm bringing with me, and I'm like, what's going on? He's like, oh, something is something. And I'm like, I work here. What are you bothering my mother-in-law for? And and he's like, oh, I didn't know they were parked at a closed store, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, get out of here, man. Like, I work here. This is my store. Get the fuck out of here. Asking my mother-in-law for a driver's license. Fuck off, dude. You're not running my mother-in-law. Fuck off. Yeah. And he left. He left. Another cop had pulled up, and both of them left, because I was like, hey, man, this ain't fucking kosher. You can't do this. The fuck? She's sitting here. Is she breaking into the store? No. Do you suspect her of a crime? Get the fuck out of here, man.
Right. So this is where it comes down to, it's now getting to people's heads here in Australia that enough is enough. Is it going to do any good tomorrow to protest? Is it a bit too late?
It
Time will
may
tell.
do some good. It may do some good because it'll make the news. The news will show it, but they won't tell the truth. So don't fucking think they're going to tell the truth because they're not going to tell the truth.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing I want to do for people. We've got bad weather here in South Australia, so I don't think there'll be a protest tomorrow here in Adelaide due to the weather. It's only due to the weather. But, however, if I can get a live stream from Melbourne or Victoria tomorrow while the protest is going.
What does the weather matter? I'm just saying this because I've walked across my country in every kind of weather there is, and I've been in 40 below zero weather, 40 below zero.
But
okay, which is 30 degrees Celsius. Oh wait, no, it's 30 below Celsius, right?
Yeah.
0 degrees Fahrenheit is 33 degrees Fahrenheit is 0 degrees Celsius. So take that like 70 degrees lower, and that's what I was. I was sleeping in that shit. I was hiking. So what I'm saying is, if you believe in something strongly enough, it doesn't matter what the fucking weather is. You will go and fight for what you fucking believe in. That's what I'm saying.
All I'm saying is, Damien, I haven't found the protest here in South. I'm hearing there is a protest here in Adelaide. I am hearing it, but I haven't seen any details if it is actually is a protest. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they have to show up. That's all that has to happen. They have to show up. They have to do what they say they're going to do.
Yeah. But here's the thing too. As you know, South Australia does not have those type of restrictions of what Victoria's got. Right. We can, here in South Australia, you can see your mother tomorrow. In Victoria, you can't. Right? So
maybe they should just revolt and tell them to all fuck off, and all of them together have to tell them to fuck off, piss off, motherfuckers, because we're not doing this.
That's what they
have to do.
Well, that's why there is a protest tomorrow, and I'm just trying to find where the protest is, right?
Because they're going to have. You can bet in Victoria they're going to have roadblocks. You watch. I bet they have roadblocks.
I am expecting in Victoria that there will be a riot in Victoria with the protest that's going down tomorrow, because it's already on the mainstream media. Last night on the mainstream media, they were warning people not to show up to these protests tomorrow, right?
Oh, warning people not to show up to a protest because they protest the government that's streaming the mainstream media? Fuck that.
There's going to be a riot.
The government owns the media. The government owns the media. So anything you're watching on TV, the government owns that. And they've told them what to say. And they're going to say it to you. And you don't believe it.
I'm not in Victoria, but I can say this. There will be a riot tomorrow. It's
good.
There's no question about it. I can see it.
No, it's going to be good. It's going to be good, and it's going to be bad at the same time, because people who believe in what they believe in are going to get hurt, and that's a bad thing. But the people in mass can make things happen.
Yeah. Now we've got Eric back now, and I played a testimony what's going on. There is protest tomorrow, and like I said, I haven't seen the advertisement or the thing for Adelaide. If there is, I said to Shay, Damien, this morning, I want to go to a fucking protest tomorrow. If there is one here in Adelaide, I'm going. But
yeah,
if there
live
isn't,
stream it. Live stream it. I will watch that shit at work. I don't give a fuck.
right? Eric just back down. We're going to share screen something, and I hope it's not like last week. Last week was bad, Eric. Having porn on. We're not playing porn anymore.
Yeah, Max
not playing porn.
was with me
You're echoing.
about 15 minutes ago, Max Egan. So it's like a less than a minute clip, but even the dub.
Oh, hold on, Eric. I've got a question for you.
Sure.
Have you asked Max Egan, is there a protest in Sydney tomorrow? Because the word has gone out tomorrow, Sunday, here in Australia, is Mother's Day. There's a protest all around Australia. I just want to find out if there's a protest in Sydney tomorrow.
Oh, I'll ask him right now.
Because there's one in Melbourne tomorrow. There's definitely a protest in Melbourne tomorrow. And I'm hearing...
Awesome. Melbourne,
and
is there going to be one? There's going to be one in Adelaide as well?
I'm hearing there is one in Adelaide, but I haven't found the details if it's actually going to happen. But I'm hearing the protest is supposed to be worldwide on Sunday, 12 o'clock, no matter which town you live in.
Worldwide is different in every place. So
no,
your Sunday is my Saturday.
Damien, hold. Listen, wherever you are living on Sunday, no matter what town you live in, 12 o'clock in your town, in your city, there will be a protest. That's what I'm fucking hearing.
Yeah, but where you're at, Sunday is my Saturday. So
no, you're not hearing me, Damien.
My Sunday is your Monday.
Damien, you're not hearing me. Sunday,
I understand what you're saying. saying.
Sunday, your time.
Yeah.
It'll be Sunday. It'll be Sunday my time tomorrow.
Should be Sunday every day.
See,
every day should be Sunday.
Here the problem lies once again that the world doesn't have a time, and we should all be on the same time.
Hey guys, check out these dubs real quick. It's less than a minute.
Go ahead.
5G, pulling it apart. That one over there. Jesus.
So those birds, the birds
like trying to freaking destroy it the best they can. It's freaking it's surreal.
They're not dumb, the birds. They know what's happening.
Yeah, dude.
Isn't that crazy?
Good on them, mate. Yeah. God, they're going for it, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. That's tripped out. Is that Max?
Do you remember back in the day when
is that Max?
Used to say that if shit hits the fan, the first thing we need to do is take down cell phone towers? Do you remember him saying that? And I'm like, did that dude really just say that?
Yeah.
Right? But I mean, that's the birds are attacking it. They need to be disassembled somehow, lawfully, legally, but I regress. Go ahead, guys.
It looks like the birds were trying to make a nest. They're trying to get the wires from the 5G and make a nest for the freaking nesting season.
No, they definitely don't like that thing.
Well, if you go, funny you say that, Damon. When say I go to Victoria and to see concerts at night time. This is in night time, right? On the fucking tower, it's got like a mobile cell phone tower on top of the towers. All the seagulls are just flying around in fucking circles, attacking the tower. And no shit, it looks like Gotham.
Yeah, because it's fucking with them. And they know it's fucking with them, and they are smarter than people. Because people are dumb.
The only thing that I laugh at is I don't want to be the window cleaner on these buildings because there'll be freaking bird shit everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hate
That's-
seagulls. Seagulls and crows can kiss my ass.
But yeah, those birds just fly around in circles, fucking squawking their heads off because the tower, like these buildings have like a mobile tower on the top of them. Looks like the World Trade Center. Most of them had a fucking cell phone tower and radio signal tower on top of
Right.
the birds just
Exactly.
the birds just fly. Yeah, the birds just fly around in the circles. They're not going anywhere. They're just constantly
Where'd
just
Eric
going around.
go? Eric took off again.
Eric keeps lagging in and out. Apparently, he keeps dropping in and out, in and out, in and out. I don't know what's going on. So,
Well,
yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But earlier this week, there was a 25-minute documentary, part 1 of the pandemic. Of the pandemic.
The pandemic. There's so many of those. You'll have to send me a link.
And yeah, well, let me tell you something. That video is constantly being taken down by YouTube because they don't want the truth to come out.
Hey,
now,
listen. I know, like I said, I know a lot of people in the medical profession. A lot of my customers are in the medical profession. They're nurses and shit. They come in still in their scrubs. You know what I mean? They got off work. They fucking come in. They buy some beer, go home, fucking drink, and they don't have no work right now. I mean, they're not really doing anything. So it's disheartening for me to think that the public thinks that this is a pandemic and all that, and it's all bullshit. They're taking normal things that happen all the time and making it COVID, and it's sad to see that the world, not just the American public, but the world. Okay, what happened in Japan happened in Japan, and they did what they did, and that's not the same as what's going on in the rest of the world. Okay, it's not. I fucking guarantee it. And
I'm gonna try.
Or China. I'm sorry, China. When China did what they did, they did something to their public, and then people started believing that it was a pandemic, and it's really not.
Right.
Doctors are being pressured to say that things are related to COVID. That's bullshit.
Yeah. I'm just trying to basically I'm trying to share screen. I'm just got to get all this. It just won't fucking let me fucking do anything.
It doesn't like doing it.
No, because I've got to do some other stuff with it. I was going to play the I was going to play the videos that I can. I just got to
figure it out.
No, just it's the settings. The settings are not allowing me to
yeah, it's
do it.
It's odd, isn't it? It's odd because we were screen sharing before, and then we screen shared some stuff that they didn't like, so they said you can't screen share anymore.
Yeah, that was Eric. Eric was doing the screen sharing, wasn't me? I was doing the audio. So
right, I know. Yep.
Unless you want me to play the audio from the video clip so we can listen to it.
You can. People listen. If they listen, they listen. If they don't listen, well, that's on you.
All right. Well,
audio is great. You don't have to have video, I think.
All right.
If I have audio, I can listen to it and do other things and still listen to it. And with video, you got to watch the video. You can't do other things while you're watching a video. You know, audio is great.
Right. So we're going to play this. And remember,
what is this? Do an intro for it.
It's a pandemic where Dr. Julie Mekovich has whistleblown on the coronavirus.
Okay.
And she was a scientist that was put in the prison for 5 years. She goes into this and how she was basically set up. With that, she wasn't charged with anything. She was sent to prison. She was going to call 90-something witnesses, but they did not allow her to do that. So
Wow.
she was talking about the HIV virus back in 1984, how that virus killed millions of people in Ethiopia. And she goes on about the people behind it, like Dr. Fauci and Gallo and Redfield, that is the current person in the CDC, the head advisor for the CDC. So we've got a 25-minute video here, right? At any time, Damon, if you want me to pause it, anything, tell me. But we are going to play the audio from it. I'm not going to do the video. I'm going to play the audio, okay?
Okay.
So let me get back here. Here we go.
Dr. Judy Mikovits has been called one of the most accomplished scientists of her generation. Her 1991 doctoral thesis revolutionized the treatment of HIV/AIDS. At the height of her career, Dr. Mikovits published a blockbuster article in the journal Science. The controversial article sent shockwaves through the scientific community as it revealed that the common use of animal and human fetal tissues were unleashing devastating plagues of chronic diseases. For exposing their deadly secret, the minions of Big Pharma waged war on Dr. Mikovits, destroying her good name, career, and personal life. Now, as the fate of nations hang in the balance, Dr. Mikovits has named names of those behind the plague of corruption that places all human life in danger. So you made a discovery that conflicted with the agreed-upon narrative.
Correct.
And for that, they did everything in their powers to destroy your life.
Correct.
You were arrested.
Correct.
And then you were put under a gag order.
For 5 years, if I went on social media, if I said anything at all, they would find new evidence and put me back in jail. And it was one of the few times I cried, and it was because I knew there was no evidence the first time. And when you can unleash that kind of force to force someone into bankruptcy with a perfect credit score, and so that I couldn't bring my 97 witnesses, which included the heads, Tony Fauci, Ian Lipkin, the heads of the public health in HHS, who would have had to testify that we did absolutely nothing wrong.
So what did they charge you with?
Nothing.
But you were in jail.
I was held in jail with no charges. I was called a fugitive from justice. No warrant. Literally drugged me out of the house. Our neighbors are looking at what's going on here. They searched my house without a warrant. Literally terrorized my husband for 5 days. They said, if you don't find the notebook, if you don't find the material, which was not in my possession, but planted in my house.
As if you took intellectual property from the laboratory. Is that correct?
It was intended to appear as if I took confidential material, names, and intellectual property from the laboratory.
and I could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that I didn't, heads of our entire HHS colluded and destroyed my reputation, and the Department of Justice and the FBI sat on it and kept that case under seal, which means you can't say there's a case, or your lawyers are held in contempt of court, so you can't even get a lawyer to defend you. So every single due process right was taken away from me, and to this day remains the same. I have no constitutional freedoms or rights.
Yet you sit here. I think a lot of people would probably have just taken the retirement out early, laid low, but you've decided to come forth when your gag order has been released to write a book called Plague of Corruption, Restoring Faith in the Promise of Science. And you are naming names.
Absolutely.
Apparently, their attempt to silence you has failed. And I have to ask, how do you sit here with the confidence to call out these great forces and not fear for your life as you leave this building?
Because if we don't stop this now, we can not only forget our republic and our freedom, but we can forget humanity, because we'll be killed by this agenda.
So, Anthony Fauci.
My name is Dr. Tony Fauci. I'm the director.
The man who is heading the pandemic task force was involved in a cover-up.
He directed the cover-up. And in fact, everybody else was paid off, and paid off big time. Millions of dollars in funding from Tony Fauci's organization, National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease. These investigators that committed the fraud continue to this day to be paid big time by the NIAID.
And the whole world is listening to his advice for how to handle this current pandemic. How do we know that what he's saying is what we need to be learning?
What he's saying is absolute propaganda, and the same kind of propaganda that he's perpetrated to kill millions since 1984.
We know from this study quite clearly that there will be a delay in progression significantly greater than for individuals who do not take the drug.
It started really when I was 25 years old. I was part of the team that isolated HIV from the saliva and blood of the patients from France, where Luc Montagnier had originally isolated the virus. This was a confirmatory study, but Tony Fauci and Robert Gallo were working together then to spin the story in a different way. At that time, Dr. Rossetti was out of town, and Tony Fauci says, we understand that you have a paper in press and we want a copy of it. And I said, yes, there's a paper in press and it's confidential, and no, I will not give you a copy of it. He started screaming at me. Then he said, give us the paper right now, or you'll be fired for insubordination. And I just said, I'm sure when Dr. Rossetti gets back, you can have the conversation. And so Frank comes back, several weeks later, and is really bullied into giving Fauci the paper. Fauci holds up the publication of the paper for several months, while Robert Gallo writes his own paper and takes all the credit. And of course, patents are involved. This delay of the confirmation, literally led to spreading the virus around, killing millions.
Perhaps no one expressed the anguish of AIDS better than New York writer Larry Kramer. But he was even more angry at the federal government and the pharmaceutical industry. One person who felt Kramer's fury was NIH Dr. Anthony Fauci.
It's still been crushing to me to think that I didn't know my work in 1999 was something that had been avoided. From 83 and 82, when the virus was isolated, the virus didn't have to wait until 84 to be confirmed. Think of how many people, the entire continent of Africa, lost a generation as that virus was spread through because of the arrogance of a group of people. And it includes Robert Redfield, who's now the head of the CDC. right along with Tony Fauci. They were working together to take credit and make money, and they had the patents on it and tailored them to IL-2 therapy, which was absolutely the wrong therapy. And had that not happened, millions wouldn't have died from HIV.
How can a man who's giving, any person who's giving global advice for health own a patent in the solution in the vaccine? Isn't that a conflict of interest, or shouldn't it be?
It is a conflict of interest. And in fact, this is one of the things that I've been saying and would like to say to President Trump: repeal the Bayh-Dole Act.
Bayh-Dole fundamentally changed the way universities approach technology transfer. And you can see that best in the statistics. Universities obtain 16 times as many patents today as they did in 1980. Now, everybody's getting more patents, but still, universities' share of all patents in the United States is more than 5 times greater than it was before Bayh-Dole. The situation has gotten so bad that one information technology industry official has publicly referred to universities as, quote, crack addicts, unquote, driven by, quote, small-minded tech transfer offices addicted to patent royalties.
That act gave government workers the right to patent their discoveries. So to claim intellectual property for discoveries that the taxpayer paid for. Ever since that happened in the early 80s, it destroyed science. And this allowed the development of those conflicts of interest. And this is the crime behind letting somebody like Bill Gates with billions of dollars, nobody elected him. He has no medical background. He has no expertise. But we let people like that have a voice in this country while we destroy the lives of millions of people.
Normalcy only returns when we've largely vaccinated the entire global population.
Fuck off,
If we
Bill.
activate mandatory vaccines globally, I imagine these people stand to make hundreds of billions of dollars that own the vaccines.
And they'll kill millions, as they already have with their vaccines. There is no vaccine currently on the schedule for any RNA virus that works.
So I have to ask you, are you anti-vaccine?
Oh, absolutely not. In fact, vaccine is immune therapy, just like interferon alpha is immune therapy. So I'm not anti-vaccine. My job is to develop immune therapies. That's what vaccines are.
Do you believe that this virus was created in a laboratory?
I wouldn't use the word created, but you can't say naturally occurring if it was by way of the laboratory. So it's very clear this virus was manipulated. This family of viruses was manipulated and studied in a laboratory where the animals were taken into the laboratory. And this is what was released, whether deliberate or not. That cannot be naturally occurring. Somebody didn't go to a market, get a bat. The virus didn't jump directly to humans. That's not how it works. That's accelerated viral evolution. If it was a natural occurrence, it would take it up to 800 years to occur. This occurred from SARS-1 within a decade. That's not naturally occurring.
And do you have any ideas of where this occurred?
Yeah, I'm sure it occurred between the North Carolina laboratories, Fort Detrick, the U.S. Army Research Institute of Infectious Disease, and the Wuhan laboratory.
$3.7 million flowed from the National Institutes of Health here in the U.S. to the Wuhan lab in China, the same lab where many people have said
Can you pause there for a second?
Originated.
Yeah.
We also now know that NIH.
Yeah, go on.
What she just said is very detrimental to all of this, okay? Because she's saying that, like we said from the very beginning, this is man-made. It is it's a man-made thing. It doesn't occur in nature because of the components that it holds. So, in saying that, what she's saying truly is that it was manipulated, it was changed, and it was released intentionally or unintentionally, she said. So let's just go with intentionally, because that's what I believe it is. So so this was released intentionally, thinking and believing that it would kill more people than what it did, and because they had a projection of like a lot more millions and millions of people. Okay, when they did the 201 test. So, and anyone who has not heard of that or doesn't know about it, it's called Event 201. You can look it up on YouTube, and it will show you an entire series that they filmed themselves. It's not us telling you about it. It's them saying what they were projecting. And it was for a coronavirus. It was a whole test that they did in October, which was way before this ever happened. And this is all a beta test to see how people will react to propaganda spread all over the world by the UN and the United and the WHO, the World Health Organization. So this is all propaganda. It's all propaganda, and all you have to do is look it up, and you'll see for yourself that it's a big lie. All of it is a big lie. No one's getting sick from some weird virus or anything like. Honestly, it's all propaganda. It's all bullshit. It's all a lie. You don't need a mask. You don't need to wear fucking gloves everywhere. In fact, you're really like cross-contaminating shit when you wear gloves and touch a bunch of stuff with those gloves. So I'm just saying. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. And I just wanted to say that because it's just she's saying it's not normal, and it didn't come from nature. Someone made that shit, and we said that in the very beginning. If you go back and you watch our videos, you'll see that we said that from the very beginning. It was all a bullshit. And it was man-made, whatever it is. And they released it on China. And that fucked China up. Let me tell you what. But the numbers that they're telling you in the U.S. are all a lie. And in other countries too. They're all a lie. China locked their people in their fucking houses and welded their doors shut. They fucking died because they fucking got their doors welded shut. Not because of a virus. So don't believe China.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's continue.
Yes, please.
Aid, the department associated with the National Institutes of Health, of which Dr. Anthony Fauci is in control, had already been conducting experiments with the Wuhan lab in the past in regard to coronavirus. If Dr. Anthony Fauci cannot be honest with the public about his connection to this lab, then Fauci has to go.
In 1999, I was
That's
working
crazy.
in USAM right there, and my job was to teach Ebola how to infect human cells without killing them. Ebola couldn't infect human cells until we took it in the laboratories and taught them.
It's hard to ignore the death tolls. People have,
and you have to give it in a shot.
In quite alarming numbers. How do you reconcile that?
It's pretty easy when you see, for me, when you see what the government has done, and that is that they took, quoting Dr. Birx,
we've taken
a very liberal
approach to mortality.
If my husband were to die, who has COPD, his lungs have fibrosis. His lungs would look exactly like somebody with COVID-19 theoretically, but he has no evidence of infection. So if you're not testing and you don't have evidence of infection, and if you walked in there today, they call it COVID-19. And we hear this from the doctors and nurses who are upset.
I've seen so many doctors online that have made their own webcam videos, just perplexed by the protocol that the CDC had given them.
Well, last Friday, I received a 7-page document that sort of told me that I had an 86-year-old patient that had pneumonia but was never tested for COVID-19. But sometime after she came down with pneumonia, we learned that she had been exposed to her son, who had no symptoms, but later on was identified with COVID-19, that it would be appropriate to diagnose on the death certificate COVID-19.
When I'm writing up my death report, I'm being pressured to add COVID. Why
But
is
they
that?
died of pneumonia. But they died of pneumonia. They didn't die of COVID.
The numbers to make it look a little bit worse than it is? I think so. Why would they want to skew the number of deaths to COVID-19?
Well,
Can we pause?
Control people, and sometimes
that's what I'm saying. Doctors are being pressured to put cause of death COVID-19 or to complications of COVID-19. So this is all wrong. The numbers are skewed. They're all lying. This is bullshit because that lady died of pneumonia. She didn't die of, she died of the flu. She died of pneumonia. And pneumonia has killed a fucking fuck ton of people, okay, over the years. So, and even last year, this year, more flu patients have died than coronavirus patients. And they're being pressured to put coronavirus on the paperwork so that they can push their agenda. And that's bullshit.
And they're getting paid for it too. Like if someone goes in with coronavirus,
they get paid for it.
Yeah. If someone goes in with a coronavirus pneumonia, like ammonia, right, but then get put on a ventilator, it's $39,000.
You can kill them by doing that.
Exactly.
Those ventilators that they're using are killing people. That's what they're doing. They're pushing more air into their lungs than what they need, and it's forcing it in. So it's killing them by pressure, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's killing people. Them using those ventilators when they don't need them cause them to die. So they're using all the tactics they can to kill everybody that they possibly can. What and how fucked up is that?
Yeah. People are making money out of this, man, and this is what it's all about. This is why
when
we're
I'm
trying
dead, you can't make any more fucking money off me. Because if I die, and that'll be a cold day in hell that I die. Because I'm a hardcore motherfucker and I can ride through anything. I don't give a shit. I will ride through. I'll be 105 years old. You watch. We'll be old motherfuckers talking and still talking about some stupid ass shit that happened back in 2020. So I'm just saying, I'll be an old motherfucker and still riding because I know how to fucking survive.
Let's continue. We've got about 10 minutes. 10 minutes to go on this video.
Well, okay.
People's ability to think for themselves is paralyzed if they're frightened enough. And that's not what I want people to be. I want people to say, we're going to get through this. I'm going to use my head. I'm going to go to different sources. I'm going to listen to different sources. And I'm going to think for myself because that's what America's about.
If someone dies with COVID-19, we are counting that as a COVID-19 death.
You don't die with an infection. You die from an infection.
I've talked to doctors who have admitted that they are being incentivized to list patients that are sick or have died with COVID-19.
Yeah, $13,000 for Medicare. if you call it COVID-19.
Right now, Medicare is determined.
Wow,
that
$1,300. Wow.
Yep.
$13,000. If that COVID-19
$13,000.
$39,000, 3 times as much.
And
Oh, hold up right there.
All things that just don't make sense.
It's okay. We're not going to run out of time because people will listen. This is important shit, and they will listen. So, look, when they say they get $13,000, that's a lot of goddamn money. $13,000 for someone who has COVID? What the holy fuck? They are draining the shit out of our economy right now. Because that's all paid by the taxpayers. Those people don't have to pay it. It's fucking Medicare. So we pay for it. I pay for it. I work hard every fucking day, and I don't do it to pay for some bullshit.
Damien, it goes up to $39,000.
Yeah, that's fucking insane.
Yep.
$40,000? Are you fucking joking me?
Yeah.
What the holy fucking shit is this?
I want to get this.
This is some fucking bullshit.
Damien,
I want to get through this video too, but this is some fucking bullshit, bro. This is like, okay, say you make $1,200 in a month, okay, or in a fortnight. If you make $1,200 in a fortnight, okay, I make almost $1,000 in a fortnight, which for us Americans is 2 weeks. So say you make that, and the government wants to tax you on it, and they take like $500.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Because that's what's about to happen. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I want to get.
That's
I want
what's
to
about
get
to happen. All of our governments are shutting everything down. There's no economy. People aren't making money. The government is giving a lot of money, but nobody's making any money and paying into taxes. Okay? So just wait. See how much stuff goes up. The prices of things go up because they're not being manufactured anymore. Everything's sitting in warehouses. And I know this because there's things that I don't have because they don't have it in the warehouse. So I understand the whole logistics of everything that goes on with that. And they are going to bleed us dry. That's what's going to happen.
Right. I want to get this doctor on our show. If we can get some information,
I would love. If you find out their name, I'll try and message them.
Yeah, it's Dr. Judy Mikovits.
Send that to me, and I'll
I'll
look her up and I'll message her because she's in America, right?
She's in America. Let me continue with this video. Continue.
Go for it.
In front of me, the lungs I'm trying to improve have led me to believe that we are operating under a medical paradigm that is untrue. And I fear that this misguided treatment will lead to a tremendous amount of harm to a great number of people in a very short time. My next question is about Italy. I want to know why Italy was hit so hard.
Italy has a very old population, very sick with inflammatory disorders. They got at the beginning of 2019 an untested new form of influenza vaccine that had 4 different strains of influenza, including a highly pathogenic H1N1. That vaccine was grown in a cell line, a dog cell line. Dogs have lots of coronaviruses, and that's why they're not testing there. You can just say, oh, it was that.
As the country begins emerging from the worst of the coronavirus epidemic, one question remains. What happened to all the hydroxychloroquine?
We know that hydrochloroquine and zinc are working great for patients. And then Fauci comes out and says, well, there's no double-blind controlled placebo study, which, by the way, Dr. Fauci, is there going to be a double-blind controlled placebo study of your vaccine? Is there?
In a survey polling nearly 2,300 doctors in some 30 countries, hydroxychloroquine was ranked as the most effective medication to treat the virus.
The AMA was saying, doctors will lose their license if they use hydroxychloroquine, the anti-malarial drug that's been on the list of essential medicine worldwide for 70 years. Dr. Fauci calls that anecdotal data. It's not storytelling if we have thousands of pages of data saying it's effective against these families of viruses. This is essential medicine, and we'll keep it from the people. Not only now, but back in autism with our discovery, there was an old antiviral drug, 100-year-old drug called Suramin on the WHO list of essential medicine. It literally gave kids with autism a voice, a life. What did Bayer and Monsanto do? They took it away from everybody. You couldn't get it to save your life right now. We tried. Believe me, everywhere we could. So when you take away medicine, and not just the WHO, not just the WHO, the FDA, the CDC, Tony Fauci, close everything. Just end it all, and we've got a healthy world again. And we got tons of money because we can take all that money they're making on their patents and we can give it to the victims of this plague of corruption.
Is it safe to say that anything that cannot be patented has been shut down intentionally because there's no way to profit from it? All these natural remedies that we've had forever.
Absolutely, that's fair to say, and that's exactly what's going on in COVID-19. The game is to prevent the therapies till everyone is infected and push the vaccines, knowing that the flu vaccines increase the odds by 36% of getting COVID-19.
Where does that data come from?
A publication last year where the military who had been vaccinated with influenza were more susceptible to coronaviruses. Coronaviruses are in every animal. So if you've ever had a flu vaccine, you were injected with coronaviruses and then put on a mask.
This doesn't make any sense. We wear masks.
That's awesome. I don't have flu vaccine.
Yeah. Why is that? Because we understand microbiology, we understand immunology, and we want strong immune systems. Our immune system is used to touch. We share bacteria, staphylococcal, streptococcal bacteria, viruses. We develop an immune response daily to this stuff. When you take that away from me, my immune system drops. As a shelter in place, my immune system drops. You keep me there for months, it drops more. And now I'm at home, hand washing vigorously, washing the counters, worried about things that are indeed what I need to survive.
You're not immunodeficient and you're not elderly. You should be able to go out without any gloves and without a mask. I think if you are those things, you should either shelter in place or wear a mask and gloves. I don't think everybody needs to wear a mask and gloves because it reduces your bacterial flora. It doesn't allow you to interact with society, and your bacteria flora and your viruses, your friends that protect you from other diseases, end up going away, and now you're more likely to get opportunistic infections that are hoping you don't have your good bugs fighting for you, if that makes sense.
And then as we all come out of shelter in place with a lower immune system and start trading viruses, bacteria, what do you think is going to happen? Disease is going to spike.
I guarantee when we reopen, there's going to be a huge amount of illness that's going to be rampant.
The building blocks of your immune system is virus and bacteria. End of story.
Wearing the mask literally activates your own virus. You're getting sick from your own reactivated coronavirus expressions. And if it happens to be SARS-CoV-2, then you've got a big problem.
You're not the first virologist who has told me that we're doing the exact opposite of what we should be doing to contain and to create immunity from this virus.
Why would you close the beach? You've got sequences in the soil, in the sand. You've got healing microbes in the ocean, in the salt water. That's insanity.
These institutions that are polluting our environment and our bodies, there was a time when they actually had to fight their own battles. But they've done such a great job at manipulating the masses that It's other people shutting down other citizens, and the big tech platform follow suit and they shut everything down. There is no dissenting voices allowed anymore in this free country, which is something I never thought I would live to see.
Nor would I accept what I've experienced since 2011. It's beyond comprehension how a society can be so fooled that the types of propaganda continue to where they're just driving us to hate each other.
You want to go to work?
Yes.
And get this disease? I think the medical profession know what they're
They've
talking
been wrong so far, man. They've been wrong.
Hopefully, this is the wake-up call of all America to realize this makes no sense and we win, because it will take down the whole program with information like this. And for me, it's the great news that the doctors are waking up and saying, wait a minute.
You doctors that are watching this, and I see a lot of you right here, why are you not getting loud? I'm here to defend you. I'm here to defend my freedoms. I'm here to defend my family's freedoms, my patients' rights to choose what to do with their life. I'm just blown away. And I'm blown away why there are not more doctors like me talking about this all over the place. We should be banding together right now. You need to wake up, because your liberties are getting taken away from you all because of fake news that's out there. This is wrong. People should be going to jail for this stuff.
So it's
They
not
like
the
making money, though.
way dishonest. They're listening to people who for more than 40 years have controlled who gets funded, what gets published. And I'm sorry to say, many, many people will simply take the money and the fame and that support things that absolutely aren't true.
What do you say to the medical professionals that are just beginning to get a glimpse of the depth to which they have been misled and steered away from their oath to do no harm?
I say, forgive yourselves. It's the hardest thing to realize for all of us, and is that with all the best intention, we studied, we learned what we thought was the truth. We had no idea that the data that we were being told was true was not true. We've been taught now in our schools a very different science. You don't get funded if you don't speak the party line. You don't get published. That was probably the hardest thing for me to take, is understanding that scientific journals would twist a discovery that should have healed all.
Will the scientific community have the courage to answer the question of whether these diseases might have been of their own creation? Thank you.
So what we did pretty much ever since I got out of jail, we started an education company. We wake up doctors, and it's very difficult. But every doctor who realized they may have been part of the problem has now turned that around to march toward a better society and restore faith in the promise of medicine. That's all we can do.
Well, Dr. Mikovits, thank you so much for your time. It's been a real honor to sit here with you, and particularly thank you for your courage.
Thank you, Mickey. I appreciate it a lot.
The idea that we are now a few days away from a new administration, given, as you heard from the introduction, that I have been around for a while and had the opportunity of serving in 5 administrations, I thought I would bring that perspective to the topic today, is the issue of pandemic preparedness. And if there's one message that I want to leave with you today, is that there is no question that there will be a surprise outbreak. The thing we're extraordinarily confident about is that we are going to see this in the next few years. Thank you.
Wow. That was excellent, man. And I have to say, that brings us back to the very point that viruses have to be injected into you. You can't catch a virus by it not being injected to you. So for those who got flu shots over the past 20 years, you already have the ability to catch coronavirus in you, because you've gotten those flu shots, and I'm lucky. I haven't gotten a flu shot since I was probably like 14 years old. So and I'm 45. I have no problems. I don't have any corona. I'm not coughing and choking and whatever. I'll lead a pretty damn fulfilled life. I'll tell you what. So
yeah.
But
what an awesome.
My body gets a workout every day. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. So that was an awesome testimony from Dr. Judy Mikovits. She has written a book called Plague of Corruption. If you can get it, you can get it now. Damien, you might have
already written a book? Holy cow. It's only been a couple of months. Sometimes it takes years for people to write books.
Yeah.
But I can accept that because she's a doctor and she's got a mind, she's got vocabulary, and she's probably thinking like, holy shit, this is all fake. So she was able to write it quick because she had a lot to say. So
yeah. And also she was working behind the scenes with Dr. Fauci back in the 80s.
Yeah, and Dr. Fauci, like that dude is a quack. He is a nut. That dude hasn't been in, he has not, look, he's retired. He is an old doctor. He hasn't worked in anything for 20 years. That guy is a fucking quack job, dude.
Yeah. That's the same as Bill Gates, who's not even a medical doctor, has no.
Yeah, he's not a doctor of anything. He invested a bunch of money into some stuff he wanted to help the government with. Right. So fuck Bill Gates.
Now, I want to share
depopulation. That's what it's all about. Depopulation. So
basically, I'm going to give the title.
But what they wanted didn't work.
I'm going to write the title in the chat room. Right, the title of the book is called Plague of Corruption.
What is it?
I'm writing it now.
I'm not looking at the chat room. Actually, I'm just doing this. That's all I'm doing. Just doing this.
But anyway, I want to share a story before we wrap up. Kind of hilarious story too. You know how we got this COVID-19 tracking app for your phone, for your mobile or cell phone?
Right? Yeah. That's some crazy shit, right?
Yeah. Well, how about this crazy shit? There was a guy here in the eastern states of Australia who was on the run from the police due to murder. Well, what this guy did, he downloaded the tracking app for his cell phone, and while he'd done that,
and it gave his real name.
Yeah. So this guy's been on the run for alleged murder, right? He's been running from the cops. He's wanted for alleged murder, right? Right. For 20 years, he's wanted. So they rolled out this coronavirus 19 tracking app for your phone. Well, he downloaded the app. What do you think has happened? The police managed to track him down because he downloaded the freaking app. So
right. What a dumbass.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you think that the tracking app is not being shared around to find out where your whereabouts are, just take it from me. It is. You need Bluetooth. Like
if you think I want you to track me? No, you can fuck off. You don't even know my name. My phone isn't in my name, so they can fuck off.
So basically, guys, don't download it. I mean, like I said at the top of the show, it's not your job to protect my health. It's my job to protect my health. My job.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I want to get that doctor on our show. Also, I want to get the other doctor, Dr. Erickson from Bakersfield in California. I've got a phone number.
Oh, I could probably get him.
Yeah.
Actually.
So I've got the phone number for his medical practice, Damien. So I'll get you to call him because, as you know,
We'd have to do it on Monday because that's my day off, and he's probably not going to want to do a show at midnight. So I'm gonna have to have time to do it during the day or something when he has time.
Yeah, if we plan a show, I will be up for it.
Okay.
I will make a sacrifice for me to be up for it. But you gotta,
no problem. Like I do that too. Like yeah, I do that too. It's okay.
This episode today has been an awesome episode. I am going to find out if there is indeed a protest here in Adelaide. As we know, there is one in Melbourne, but I'm going to find out.
There is one. You're going to live stream it, right?
Yes. I'm going to try my utmost best to fully charge my phone and make sure that there's no fucking interference by the police or anything, because you know how
they have jammers. They have cell phone jammers and shit like that.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
But I'm just first thing first. I'm going to make sure if there is indeed a freaking protest in Adelaide, all right, and then we'll take it from there because like I said, the bubble had finally burst here, man. It's gone too far now. It has now become too far.
Yeah. It's been too long. Come on. You don't have to be quarantined for all like fucking months and months and months. What the fuck is that shit? Fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm done. And it's Mother's Day and I want to see my mom. Fuck you.
Well, that's the thing. I can't say my mother, and she lives in Western Australia, and they've got restrictions there too. It's not like I can jump on a fucking plane tonight and go to Perth. I can't do that.
Oh yeah, I get that. My mom's clear across the U.S. too, so I can't see her, but I can talk to her, and I can send her some gifts. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
And
like we spoke. Like my mother and I spoke earlier today on the phone, and she's doing okay, but she misses me as much as I misses her. But
yeah.
What can we really do? The borders are shut. I can't go there. She can't come here, but we can still communicate. We can still communicate over the phone and via Skype or whatever. We can still communicate.
Right. But it's not the same. It's not the same as being there and hugging them and having a dinner, and it's not the same. It's not the same.
No, exactly. So, if you are celebrating Mother's Day tomorrow here in Australia or on Sunday around for the world, and you are celebrating Mother's Day, hug your mum for us, will you? Hug your mum. Fuck what the government say that you can't have body-to-body contact. It's your mother.
Body-to-body contact. Oh, no, you can't touch each other. Well, hey, You know what? I shake hands all the time, and I don't care. I don't fucking care. I'm not worried. They're not worried. I'm not worried. Hey, you know what? It is what it is.
Yep. Your mother gave birth to you. So it's the best thing you can do for your mother on Mother's Day is to give your mother a cuddle. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Give your mother a cuddle. Right? Enough with the paranoia, enough with the propaganda, enough with the fear-mongering. That is your mother. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you've only got one mother. And once that
Right.
person is
You'll
gone,
never have anyone else that gave birth to you.
Right.
And I was the first one from my mom, so
same as me, man. Same as me.
yeah. Yeah, I'm the oldest of 4 children, and my mother loves me and I love her. And we don't talk a whole lot, but we still love each other. And I feel her and she feels me. Like there's a bond, like I said earlier, there's a bond between a mother and a child. And that is unbroken. You can feel their emotions, their pain, their love, their anger. You can feel all of that if you allow yourself to feel that. So, and even if you don't know, that is sometimes what you feel. Like that, it's just it is what it is. I know when my mom is not okay, and I call her, and I know that it is in me because I love my mom. So sorry,
no, you're right.
On a little tangent there.
No, you're right. You're right. But what I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your Mother's Day wherever you can. And secondly, Damien, it's been an absolute pleasure. This episode was absolutely awesome, man. And we're going to keep doing this as much as we can. And we're going to drop the book in the description as well, because I want to get this book, but unfortunately I can't get this book in Australia. I've got to get it from Amazon, which is going to cost me a bit. So, Damien, you might have to get me a book so I can read it, because this book
it will cost me as much as it costs you, because they'll make me pay a shitload to send it to you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, you know, it never used to cost that much to fucking send shit over. So it never used to cost that much.
That's what I'm saying. Prices are going up for everything. And that's gonna be continuing, because they've even shut down meat producers in this country that I use. They have shut down meat producers, period, like in a lot of states. So we're not getting the meat that we used to get. And that's becoming a problem. So
well, funny you say that, Damien. Funny you say that. We'll just wrap it up on this note here. Here in Australia, the longer they keep the jobs shut, it's costing the economy here in Australia $4 million, $4 billion a day. The longer they keep the workplace shut, it's costing the economy $4 billion a day. Now,
that's a lot of freaking money, bro. That is a lot of money.
You can only just imagine how much it's costing the economy in the United States right now. How much it's costing the economy by keeping the jobs shut. You know? So, yeah. It's a massive big hole, man. Massive big hole. All right, Damien, it's been a pleasure, man. Absolute pleasure. It was an awesome show. So,
thank you very much. And yes, it was. And that was some very informative stuff that you played. And you know, I have to go back to when we first started, and when we first started talking about this stuff and saying that it was man-made, and it's not as bad here as what they say it is. And you know, that's backed up by medical fact. So
I hate to say it, but I am going to say it. Ladies and gentlemen, Damien and Jamie, we told you so. We've done a show back in February, early February, and we are going to pull that up, because
Was that February or January? Was it January?
It might, but no, it was early. It was very early February, maybe late January, or give or take. It was either late January or early February.
Yeah, right. Because we were already investigating all of this.
Yeah, because we went from talking about the bushfires and the devastation that was causing here in Australia, and while that was going on, while the bushfire was raging, it just broke out in Wuhan with the coronavirus, and then it started to spread a little bit. It didn't actually hit Australia till February, somewhere in February, right?
Yeah, supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly. So, I guess once it really got spread into the European thing, especially Italy, once Italy started to get cases, that's when everyone started to panic and they shut the fucking
They
the
shut
borders
everything down. Everything.
Yeah. So we did, and what if I'm beating my own drum, so be it. But I'm only telling you how it is. I'm being honest and as honest as I can be. We did the very first show. No one freaking did a show on it. As far as I'm concerned, no one did a show on the coronavirus. We broke the news, right, of the Vent 201, that it was manipulated, constructive work in the lab, right? And that
yes, we did. We broke that.
Yeah, we broke that. And what we're going to do, maybe leading into next week's show, Damien, I will pull up that video, right, to do a specific timeline on events of when we said that and so forth, so we can give the audience exactly what's being said in today's episode. We go back 5 months ago when we did the show on it, and we can say, hey, who's lying now?
Right, because we said all this before. We said all this like months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I will pull up that video, and I know for a fact it's going to blow people's minds. How can we predict? We didn't predict anything. We just gave you facts that what we researched and discovered for ourselves. We talked about, like I said, we talked about the 201. We're talking about the manufacturing manipulation of the coronavirus on all the other viruses.
We even have pieces that show the makeup of the coronavirus and how it has HIV embedded in it, and which has to be man-made because it couldn't have HIV embedded into a virus. It just couldn't, because it doesn't work that way. So
we also went to discuss in that video that the only way that you can get the virus is by injection. And
injection.
You heard,
and that's what she was saying. Anybody that's been getting the flu virus for a long time has the coronavirus already in them because they injected it into people. Yes.
So next week, guys, just to wrap up, next week we're going to do a timeline edition, and we're going to bring up that episode, and we're going to bring up this one and see the comparison, and you can see that we weren't bullshitting you, right? So I hope you can stick around. Just lastly, please, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there over the weekend, right? And give her a hug and a big juicy kiss for me. Thanks, Damien, and we'll catch you guys next week on The Resistance. Peace.